Hey vinyl community and YouTubers, this is Chris jumping on this thread about strong lead-off tracks on albums, and also lead into good albums. I think David Newton had started this, and I've watched several other ones recently, but my take on this will be hopefully minimize the number of duplicates, but since they're good albums, it's likely that everyone will be showing them also. So, start off with my CDs. So, the first Danzig album leads off with a Twist of Cain, and just keeps up high standards throughout the whole album. Very, very strong. Back when I was living in Orlando, I had a big Sony CD holder player. I think it held 100 CDs, so I just had it loaded up, at least the first 10 or 20 slots, and so every time I turned it on I'd be listening through those. And so Danzig was one of those. It also ended up being on my travel list, so if I was taking a trip, load up CDs for the car, and Danzig was one of those. Well, another one of them was this Leonard Cohen album, Various Positions. So, Dance Me to the End of Time was the lead-off track on that, and the rest of it is, again, stuff that really got my attention, stayed strong. A lot of these albums would overlap if I was doing a go-to album thing that Steve Carlson was part of his contest. Next one, and the last of the CDs, is Cavedogs, Joyrides for Shut-Ins. So the lead-off track on this is Tayter Country. And then, Leave Me Alone, which is my favorite track on here, which, strangely enough, even though this is sort of like a power pop album, Leave Me Alone, the second track, is, reminds me of Joy Division every time it leads into it. Bed of Nails, strong track there. There's the CD. They only had, I think they only had 2 albums. They're both really good. And this one here, Freddie Fender and Doug Sahm, Reunion of the Cosmic Brothers. This is a recent acquisition, but again, it's, it starts off with the Freddie Fender song Wasted Days and Wasted Nights, which is a real good one. Especially the Doug Sahm version and the Freddie Fender version, but now you got them together. This is on a Crazy Cajun label, 1975, and it closes with another version of Wasted Days and Wasted Nights, and in between has some older country rock, rockabilly, Tex-Mex songs, sort of an EP. Rocky Erickson from 13-4 Elevators plays guitar on it. Augie Myers from the Sir Douglas Quintets also on it. So it quickly jumped to the strong album. Need to listen to it a lot more continually. Next one, this one I keep showing over and over again. Roger McGuinn, Cardiff Rose. On that Columbia label, and the lead-off track, Take Me Away. Yeah. So again, just good lead-in, good strong album. Paul Revere and the Raiders. I think somebody showed a different one, Spirit of '67 or something. But Midnight Ride, also real good, leads off with kicks. But then there are several other good rocking songs and some slower tempo versions. Paul Revere and the Raider, Midnight Ride. And then this Gene Clark album. This is the early LA Sessions version rather than the one that he did with that other country duo. But Tried So Hard. Lots of people have done good bluegrass versions of that, like Country Gazette. So, Gene Clark, Gosden Brothers. That's the other different remade version of this album, or this is the remade version. First Electric Light Orchestra. The 10358 Overture leads off on this. Then lots of long jam type songs on there, real good. Roy Wood and Jeff Lynne. But they kept it up. Second album from Electric Light Orchestra, which Old England Town Boogie No. 2 is the lead-off track. So again, just lots of strong, long songs on this. Roll Over Beethoven, which was the hit, that's the weakest track on here, in my opinion. And then Nitzinger, guitarist and band from Texas. One Foot in History. So lead off track on here, Just Take a Picture, and then it just rocks on from there through the rest of the album. Real good. Had a lot of association with Blood Rock, which was a year around the same time, overlap. So speaking of Blood Rock 2 leads off with Lucky in the Morning. Another, the Nitzinger album and this one sound a lot alike. The only thing that's sort of different on here is they've got their hit song DOA, which again is sort of deviates from the rest of the album. But nice guitar rocking songs. Free, Heartbreaker leads off with Wishing Well. Strong one. The rest of the album is equally good. Another batch of strong albums. So Flamin' Groovies with Shake Some Action. One of the greatest songs ever. But it's on a good album too. So Shake Some Action's always on my mixtapes for if it's going to be sort of an up-tempo mixtape. But then that was 76 and 78. They still had a good one with Gene Clark song. Feel a Whole Lot Better was their lead-in. And then they go into their normal, rockers, Stones-ish type songs. Jukin Bone. I think they're from upstate New York. So bluesy rock type things. This leads off with Cara, Lynn, but then they just keep the guitars going for the rest of the album. This is on RCA Dynaflex, early 70s. I'll put a link to a couple of these songs that might be not as well known as some of the other ones. And we get to another batch of just strong albums. Alice Cooper with Love It to Death, Caught in a Dream. This is a early reissue, but still a reissue. And they kick off side 2 with Is It My Body, which is another great lead-in. Yeah, Caught in a Dream. So all these albums sort of sound the same, you know, early rock. Then they kept it up. Second out, their next album, the follow-up, Killer. You know, lead off with Under My Wheels. And then it just keeps up, you know, those are both go-to Alice Cooper albums. But then they continue it with School's Out. So School's Out, lead off, then they go in through all their West Side Story type things, which is also really good. And we move over to Deep Purple. Oops, so this album with the Hieronymus Bosch cover starts off with Chasing Shadows, killer version of Lelania, plus their other early, a little bit different than, Machine Head era Deep Purple. But then they get up into that era. Fireball. I can't remember what the lead-off track is. They're all so good on here. Fireball, No, 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 Strange Kind of Woman, Anyone's Daughter. So this is my go-to and favorite Deep Purple album. And that finishes off my 20 albums with great lead-in tracks, and also great albums throughout. Very consistent. So thanks, everybody. See you later.